Boom, coming out of the ground. Here we go. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I am One Divine, and I'm so pleased to introduce our next guests. Thank you for gathering. I'm going to switch over so I can see. We've got UK Dartmoor in the house. Anybody else, post where you're from. And I'm going to bring on our guests today and co-conspirators in this Equinox alchemy container. Shakti, Botazzi, join us here. We've got Grandmother Flordemayo, welcome, and Grandmother Flordemayo's daughter, Heather Hall Dudney Stone, who's going to be support team here, and I'll tell part of the story of how we met and how this ended up merging missions a little bit for what we're being called to do. I wanted to have a live today to talk about what we got called to do with this Equinox alchemy experience, seed activation. What does that even mean? And how that all came forward. So you want to say hello, Shakti? Unmute. There you go. Uh-oh. We lost Shakti. Okay. Device is not connected. We've been having some technical difficulties this morning. Welcome, Valerie Elster just came on. Let's see if she can, maybe Shakti will come back in and out. And this is typical when you get this much divine feminine power on one screen. Things tend to blow out. Let's see where she went. Here she comes. There we go. There she's back. She's a shapeshifter, everybody.
Yeah, we're beaming powerfully, and so the energies go. So it is a pleasure to be here. One Divine, you're going to explain more about this, but this co-creation and for the 10-day container that we're opening on the 17th of March, and this setting up of the intention today with Grandmother Flordemayo and Heather Hall Dudley Stone. It's such an honor to be doing this work, which is our soulful path's purpose. And it's a joy to be here. I feel the joy in the field continuously about doing this. So it's awesome, and welcome you all who are on all the live streams watching today. And yeah, that's it for now.
Thank you. And I'm gonna save Grandmother Flordemayo for last, but absolutely not least. And I've asked her to open this call with a little prayer and opening, because I always say everything we do is sacred. That's kind of the point of our work, to make everything sacred again in what we do. Heather, welcome. I'm glad you're joining us today.
Well, thank you it's nice seeing you guys. A lot of people know that we all met over in Santa Fe with Clara. So it's beautiful to be around and be of support to this. So thank you.
So we were at the Sacred Reciprocity event, is what she's referring to, in Santa Fe. After I had the first Equinox alchemy, we did a full retreat here in Mount Shasta. I'm tuning in from Mount Shasta, and Heather's tuning in from Hawaii, and Grandmother Flordemayo is in New Mexico, and Shakti is in Oregon and Bend, near Bend. So just our grid spots alone on the planet today is just really potent and powerful. And there was a really beautiful gathering of some of the remaining original 13 grandmothers, which Grandmother Flordemayo was the architect of that group originally. And I was honored. Clara asked me after in Shasta, because she came to our Equinox alchemy event, and that is the last time I've done one of these. I just do them when I'm called, and there's no plan for it. And what I'm being made to understand is some of the things that we did in that container and on the ground are being carried forward, and we're, underground and rooting down through the winter. And now spring, we're going to culminate and it'll be cumulative as well. And I know many of the people who joined us for that will join us again, which is excellent because we've already created a field together. But speaking of creating a field and picking dates, Grandmother Flordemayo had their Sacred Reciprocity event in Santa Fe, began on Friday the 13th, Day of the Goddess, Number of the Goddess, and known for a lot of other things too. And then there was an eclipse, and we had a ceremony that was beyond words. And I was honored to serve in any way that just help Clara with the house, with the food, or setting up. And that's where I met Heather. We stayed together as we were helping set up for that event and got along splendidly. And it was just at that point, there was a point during the talks and the ceremonies, and it was around helping and funding her seed bank, the Path and Mission. And where the room was just filled with ancestors, and I was moved to tears. I was like, oh my gosh, we are not alone. And another woman received the same thing, and she was getting that, like, everyone's personal, like, ancestor team were there as like a huge team. And it was so potent and beyond words to describe the energy of that. And that's what Grandmother Flordemayo brings, and the grandmothers. And I had an experience this week after I opened the container. That's what happens, right? The alchemy begins as soon as you say yes. And I had an experience this weekend where I swear I had a living room full of grandmothers, of indigenous, cosmic, everything. And it was so, again, words fail me for it. And a lot of times I'm talking about opening a container for the mother, because we are the Mothership Alliance. We are a Divine Mother ministry, and this is some of the work that we do. But this one was clear that this one was Grandma on the phone. And I know that this container is also going to be cumulative and powerful and potent. And when I received to do it, I heard the word seed activation. And it was just a few days later that Heather called me, unrelated, to talk about what we had started talking about in New Mexico, which was some templates that I have and some sort of roadmaps for helping bring forward things in marketing and in structure for memberships and things like that. So we were going to kind of like pick up that conversation again. And I said, I'm actually doing this event, and I think it would be amazing and an opportunity to help the Path again, and to have Grandmother Flordemayo, would she do it, really pretty pleased to open our ceremony. So with all of that jabbering, I am going to hand the mic over to Grandmother Flordemayo to say hello, and if she would open with a nice prayer for us today. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. I would like to greet everybody in the four directions. Thank you so very much, One Divine. Thank you, Shakti. Thank you, Heather, for the opportunity. For me, it is a great, great honor to be here with you on this beautiful, beautiful sacred day, and at this particular moment. Today in our Mayan calendar is the day of Ish. And the day of Ish is the spirit of the feminine. It's a very, very auspicious moment that we are gathered together on this beautiful, beautiful day. Ish is represented by the jaguar. And we are known as that spirit of the feminine that is agile, that moves about on the earth. And it also not only walks on the earth, but it dives in the water. It can feed out of the water. It can feed out of the earth. The spots on the beautiful, beautiful cat represent the heavenly body. So we are told that the spirit of the feminine is not only a spirit of the earth, but it also carries the heavens on her back. And that we have that keenness of a feline. And the day of the feminine talks about all of nature, all that it represents, all of life, everything that exists.
That is so beautiful, Grandmother, because we are doing the work to heal the wounded divine feminine and the distorted wounded divine masculine, because one cannot be done without the other. But it is through the divine feminine that the creation aspect happens and the seeds can grow. And it is such a beautiful synchronicity that today is the day of Ish. It's like we couldn't have planned it. That's spirit telling us what day to do things. So thank you for confirming that. And we ask you, to keep going and blessing this container and the container that we are opening with intention today, the one for the seed to give birth to the seedling.
Beloved Creator, beloved Mother, Father, Creator of the heavens and the earth, beloved Beauty. On this sacred day, beloved Creator, you created all of the beauty that is around us, and that you remind us on this sacred day that we are newborn little seeds, being reborn, beloved Creator. We're touching the Mother Earth for the first time. We're feeling the moist of the spirit of the sacred waters for the first time. Feeling the warmth of the sacred sun, beloved Beauty. Allowing us to hear and to feel the whisper of the sacred wind, beloved Beauty. We are your children on this earth, beloved Creator. We are little ones, reborn on this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day as we journey into our lives and throughout our lives, where we develop and grow and also make new seeds for the next generation, beloved Creator. On this sacred day, the spirit of Ish, beloved Creator, we are the seed carriers of all of life. Beloved Beauty, we are responsible for all that lives. Beloved Spirit of the grandmothers, grandmothers of the four directions, we call upon you on this sacred day of Ish to bless us from the four directions, from the east, from the west, from the north, from the south. And on this sacred day of Ish, beloved Creator, we call upon all of our ancestors, the ancestors of each and every one that are listening, to come and to be with us together on this sacred day so that we can honor each and every one of us in this beautiful, beautiful circle of light, asking everyone to come together and to plant their prayers in their sacred way. for each and every one, beloved beauty. In the name of all of the beauty that is around us, beloved Creator, I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I cannot think of a time in my lifetime, and I think everybody will agree, where prayer is more needed, and our work is more needed, and our voices and our actions are more needed to act embodied on behalf of divine, on behalf of Mother Earth. I'm being prompted to ring a tone. And by the way, thank you for that with Ish. I'm going to talk about the 7-day OS and the alchemical cycle that I run, that I received during my awakening, and also started as a tool for me to have sort of a rhythm and observe my own rhythms. But when I did, when it was happening and I was receiving a lot, and this was about 10 years ago, it was so interwoven with things that I was shown and found from the Mayan culture. And they had a weekly OS. I call it an OS, an operating system. Their calendar, as you know, is profound and prophetic. And I received a lot of guidance from that and a lot of structure from that. Even it was just from source. And then I would find out later that it was something that the Mayan culture did. So for this to come full circle, for you to be here, for us to be bringing that in, is so amazing to me personally. And I have to say, I was removing pillows from where I'm sitting before the broadcast, and I was going to remove this blanket and throw it on the other thing. And I heard, no, keep that here.
Yeah, that's Ish.
Keep that here. So it's right next to me. So amazing, always amazing, the synchronicities when Big Mama, Big Grandma wants something done and call her daughters and granddaughters together to do it. Knowing each of us have these special gifts and put us together in the right combination, it always blows me away. This entire group here that you see on the screen practice group alchemy on a regular basis. They know the power, the women know the power of gathering, of amplifying, creating a field, and what can happen there. And so that's what we're doing. And it will be to the benefit of the individuals in that circle, and also for the collective, which is a huge part of the intention here. And connecting here from Mount Shasta, the most magnetic spot on the planet, sacred New Mexico, Hawaii, everybody who will be tuning in from their pinpoint on the map, and uniting those in a web of light around the planet to do this work. And it is no small thing. There is a reason that they've kept us separate, because when we figure out, we put all of our batteries together, what happens? It is unbelievable. I'm going to play this tone, and this is, I was going to do a tuning fork. I was getting to do sound, and then I found on our altar from one of my teammates and housemates had the throat chakra frequency, which Thursday is ruled by the throat chakra. And what was coming in was that if we will all drop in and open ourselves, to open our throat chakra, to open our voices, to raise our voices, to defend what is right, what is sacred, all life, to have the courage to speak it, to share it, and to do it. I saw a post this morning, a shout out to introverts who are stepping out of their comfort zone to bring their light to the world now. And I'm one of them. I'm like, oh, don't say me, don't. I was behind a camera for many, many years, and it took me a few years in front of the camera to be comfortable there. And now I just consider it a conversation with people who are aligned, and I'm given courage by the mother and my guides and my higher self who are like, okay, just do this and it's good. And I always connect. Opposite of loneliness is connection, right? Wanted to just talk about, I talked a little bit already about getting the call for the seed activation, and wanted to talk about what that looks like. And I talked a little bit about a weekly OS. That's part of it. But the biggest part of what happens inside these containers is the serendipity, is the unknown, is the what comes up. Oftentimes I will receive words, a post, graphics, imagery, metaphors, whatever wants to come through for that next day and that next thing at 10 o'clock at night, or even 10 minutes before ceremony, or before I speak, or while I speak. And what happens, and I know that many of you have experienced this, is just beyond. I used to, I wanted to plan and organize and what was going to be the whole schedule for the whole thing. The only thing I do is I give a soft container that is a rhythm that I know that works, that I've operated for a decade, and I've operated with groups, and is really powerful. And it observes the energies of the days as I had observed them. And Sunday, when we will open ceremony, is Soulful Sunday. It's after the 7 days of alchemy from the previous week that go up and out, and we speak into the field, right? The first day of creation was a sound. And we put that out there. We put our intentions out there. We put our prayers out there, and we can be nonlinear, and we don't have to put everything in order. And then on Monday, we ground it down. On Tuesday, we integrate it. Wednesday, we clear our signals. Thursday, we clear our signals. This is a clear your signal day. This is ruled by Thor. Clear your throat, speak your mind. Often when we do clearing, and we do body, mind, and spirit, and it's things that you can do in your own way. It's not a prescribed like 10 push-ups, you know what I mean? It is, we're grounding today. So go out in nature, and there may be certain things. On Tuesdays, we also incorporate tone and breath, or movement, or stillness and silence. And Wednesdays, body, mind, and spirit. Clean your dishes, clean your house, clean that pile on your desk that is bothering you. Pay that parking ticket that, why are you not paying it and you're avoiding it? Whatever it is that's clogging up your signal. Cry. Sweat. Clear your body. So we do these kind of things, and I make suggestions, but everybody can do it in the way that they want to do it. They feel to do it. But as we observe these rhythms and sort of swim like a school of fish together in the same rhythms, it gets cumulative through that container. And then on Friday, I call it the turn on day. That's the day in the 7 days of creation, if you follow Christianity, right, where man, woman was created. We turn on. That's turn on Friday, Friday, my day. And also we do self-care and something fun and nice and different. Day of the Goddess, ruled by Venus. Powerful day, Friday. Freya. And then on Saturdays, they connect. So you've tuned in, you've cleared your signal, you've turned on. Now, with that light turned on, you connect to Mother Earth, to one another, to I found too that's a day where a lot of dots connect. Like I might get signs, symbols, or synchronicities throughout the week, and I call it tag it and bag it, and then all of a sudden it all comes together. Like first it's soft shapes on the Polaroid or pieces of the puzzle, and then it's just like, oh my gosh, the whole picture is there. So I just wanted to give you kind of an overview of what that is going to look like, and that we are doing it in a private social media container on a free app called Band. This is where the Mothership Alliance has our community, and it allows us, first and foremost, and most importantly, a pristine energy container. That it is all of us, and part of doing something new and going somewhere new is part of the alchemy. And don't underestimate how powerful that is. And it's super easy, but it also allows a space where I can broadcast live. Shakti can broadcast live if she has a transmission, or anybody in the group can. If they're getting stuff, sharing signs they're getting in, post just like on Facebook. It's got a feed. It's got events right there at the top. So any of our Zoom events that we have scheduled are right there. Any announcements are right up top. And we can also do a daily group challenge, ground today. We're going to, go outside and give a few suggestions. Like I said, do it yourself. But those who have come into these containers, I had one of the people that joined us for Equinox Alchemy last fall, and she said, I didn't really know what an alchemist did until I did this. And another one of the people that came said, my mind is not easily blown, and my mind was blown. So I invite you to try something different than maybe you have done before, and release expectations about what that might look like, and release feeling that it's going to be like a huge time commitment or you can't do it. It's not like daily Zoom classes all day long. We do have opening ceremony with Grandmother Flordemayo. We have closing ceremony. Alan Green is going to join us again, and he's going to do a prayer for Will. And he has a mission that he's going to be doing, a vigil, and we'll talk about that in England in April. And this is to activate and energize and call in spirit and assistance for all of our divine callings, missions, skills. And even if that is just, you don't know what that is yet, and you just want to activate that seed within yourself. And believe me, by the end of this, if you are in it, you will be activated. You will be activated. I am always activated. I am always transformed. And it is just a tremendous amount of energy. And I'm always like, oh my gosh. And as soon as I start it, it begins the process. And like I said, grandmother's coming in, I'm already getting advice and all kinds of stuff and guidance. So I think that was it on that. The last thing I'll have to say about group alchemy, and it was timely because I had a conversation with my son on text last night. I couldn't sleep. He couldn't sleep. And we were talking about CE5 and Stephen Greer. And he's very interested in that. And for those who don't know, these are groups around the world that come together and they meditate and they get in coherence and they call in galactic family and friends. And they have had documented unbelievable experiences doing that. And also, I'm in 12-step recovery, 11 years. And so is my son. And one of the reasons that I know the steps are an alchemical process, but the magic that makes it actually happen is the group alchemy. Everybody praying together for the same intention in every meeting. Sometimes I told him I just go to plug into the juice that day because I need it. So it's powerful. If you didn't get my long and going point, I would love to hear Grandmother Flordemayo, and then we'll hand it to you, Shakti, to talk about, but your experience with group power and prayer and alchemy with the work that you have done?
I find in my personal experience that we have to go beyond the solitary prayer. We have to reach out and meet with other people and create that circle of light together. Whether we do it through the internet or we do it physically, because something really, really dynamic really happens when all of our everything, all that is us individually, that we can push it to that limit to come together in a way that we can explode into another consciousness and reach out into the infinite and certainly lock on to other worlds and other informations where if we are by ourselves trying to do this, I find it for me that there's only so much that I can do. And of course, I journey a lot. I travel a lot, you know. I'm not one that stays contained in my earthly plane. I am always all over the place. And I do invite those that I meet to come, you know, into my physical world and to meet other people that I am with, introduce other people to them. So there's this beautiful, beautiful, magical, sacred dance that I find that happens when we decide to let go and join a circle of prayer.
100%. Thank you. And for those who know me, know that one of my main receiving modalities is music. And I'll get songs for instructions and all kinds of stuff in my head. And what came up when you were speaking, Grandmother Flordemayo, was Born to be Wild. And it's so perfect, right? Fire all of our guns at once and explode into space like a true nature's child. You were born to be wild, and you fly so high, never gonna die. Oh my gosh, nobody asked me to sing. That is not my gift, but I did it anyway because I just opened my throat chakra today. And it was so on point and on time. And that is what we do. We fire all of our rainbow laser guns into space, and it is massive. What do you think, Shakti?
I've been tuning to the beautiful container already, the frequency that by being together is being shown. It's moving me in my heart. I thank you, Heather, for all the wonderful information you put in the chat. So you guys listening, watching, go read what she's sharing about the day and Ish. And the only thing, there's so much beauty you've shared. I want to add a very important point that this year the equinox is on the 19th. And that I will physically move from Central Oregon to Mount Shasta, where I've lived for a year and a half, and One Divine came together physically there after knowing each other many years online. And we'll be there on the 19th doing ceremony. And for those of you who want to join us, this, even though this is going to be a virtual container, on the day of the equinox, we'll have a live transmission. And all of you who can physically come and join us physically on that day will be amazing. And we, of course, will be streaming the whatever is happening live to those of you who are going to be virtual. And that the other message I wanted to say as we invite you to sign up to be in this equinox alchemical seed activation 10-day journey is that part of what we say in the invitation is, if you're ready, to birth the seed of your project, something in your life. And we mentioned like 10 things. What I want to say is, you may not know what wants to be birthed from you, but you know inside of you that there's a force that you're pregnant with that wants to be birthed. You don't need to know. You don't need to know the label. You don't need to. Just know that that force is telling you to give birth to it, and you will know when you allow that flow. And so we are inviting you into this container so that you are being held and given all the tools you need to allow that with which you are pregnant with to show up to you clearly and be able to take that next first step or next step. You don't need to know all the steps. All you need to know is the next step. And we're inviting you, telling you the next step may be just signing up for this alchemical time that we're going to do together. And that we cannot, like everybody said, do alone what we do in group, but also that the alchemy of the group is unique. This group will be together only for this occasion. And I found that every single time that groups come together is unique, and everybody gets exactly what they needed in a magical way. And that's the invitation.
Thank you. I'm so glad that you brought that up too. We will be. I will prompt everyone. We will set that intention. One of the things we're going to actually have seeds. So those who come, if they want to bring actual seeds, and on the Friday, on the turn on day, I was shown a video on Facebook, which I didn't know you could do, with rose petals that you dip into honey, and then you put them in the dirt and they grow a rose bush. Like it sprouts from there. So on that opening ceremony, the first stage of germination of a seed, what's it called? I always forget it, imbobulation, something like that, where it's taking in the water. So we're going to do a blessing with water and honey, and we will use that water and honey throughout the entire container. And that honey that we bless in that ceremony too will be used on Friday. And also, elders are free. There's a membership, a ticket on the Eventbrite for elders. You are free. When I organized the mothership, and I was receiving instructions over the course of the years, and in 2020, when the world shut down, that was when we turned on, and it was April 4 was Grandmother Live. We were started by the grandmothers, and it was a 4-hour event that was so powerful. Our anniversary, our 4-year anniversary, is on April 1st. So we're getting ready. I'm getting ready to birth into our next level. What was serving us at the time when everybody was shut down around the world, and a lot of Zoom and a lot of these things and a lot of things we practiced during that time, we did it. And a lot of the work that was guided to do and sacred activations or whatever it was is done. And one of the things I've been shown is that many of us who have been doing this work, we're doing kind of our work missions or learning and training. We're moving into this next of our heart missions. We are being called forth to work with our heart and our joy and what brings us joy. Is it gardening? Is it, teaching exercise things, whatever it is that you love to do, that makes you little kid giddy, happy to get up in the morning and do it. We're being called to do that. And so we will come to the container, everybody who does it with a goal that's doable in the 10 days. And it may be something that maybe you've been avoiding, like joining a gym and starting a routine, or getting your web page up, buying that URL, filing that LLC, starting that garden, whatever it is, something that you can start and finish and feel that accomplishment, and also have the group accountability where we check in along the way. And we're not going to start doing stuff right away. That's part of the alchemical process. where we will tune in, we will speak it into the field, we will ground it, we will integrate it before we even start taking action. And we'll all go through that together, but each individually sovereign but united in what we're doing. And the container itself too, the proceeds from this container will be going in a few different directions, and all good, to support, continue to be able to do these containers, which takes a lot of work and a lot of energy and a lot of tools that we pay for, to benefit the path. And we've given them their own link, so that not only is the mothership going to be tithing from that proceeds to the path, as I was guided. I'm always guided. We always give whenever we do something. We always give to something, and I'm always guided to what that is. And this time it's to the path. And I love what a revolutionary you are, Flordemayo. Keeping seeds is a revolutionary act. What you speak is revolutionary. And we want to support that. We know that they had some hail damage with their seed bank and their land. And that's why we did the Sacred Reciprocity event. I joined them. They did it. I didn't do it. I did dishes and stuff. But we want to support that. We want that work to continue. And also, if you get your ticket through them, they get even more. So, and then for us to just be able to do this work for that time. So it's a priceless. I know that some people, we also bring in the children. Sorry, there's so many things. Children are welcomed with an adult who's coming with, and a lot of these, like planting, or they might have a little project or something they want to do. There's a lot of things that they can do in their way, and we would love to have that energy too. I'm just going to play the video real quick, which is just 90 seconds. That gives a little bit of an overview, and then we'll see what else I had on my list that I forgot, or if anybody else has something coming through to say before we close out. We're closing out on the hour. We got about 10 minutes, but here's what we're doing. That's the deal. I wanted to talk about that video too, because it's a testimony to co-creation and what's possible. And when many hands, I always would get from the mother, I would told Heather, I get momisms like, keep it simple, smarter, not harder, many hands make a lighter load. You know, when I'm trying to overcomplicate things or whatever, I'm like, hey, you know, so. But what we have our private container, and a lot of our members have been really, we did a class on AI art about a year ago. And then a lot of our members have been really going deep with it, and then they're sharing some of the things. And I wanted to do an AI art challenge. And when I was doing the video, because the call was pretty quick on this, sometimes you get the call to do it, and it was like a week I had to like get it together. And I had templates from previous stuff we did and artwork and video. And, you know, I had already done, as soon as the seed activation came in, I made a cover for it that night to just start that. And it all came together anyway. So I just had it sitting in Canva, and I have other tools that I use for a template for the video, but I put a group challenge for 7 days, AI art challenge, seed activation. That's your only prompt. Take it wherever your mind takes it, add whatever else. And in 24 hours, just like a handful of, like, the artwork that came through was amazing. And they didn't know that I was collecting it all and putting it in the video. And then the next day I put for my challenge out the video. They were like, what? And it was all incorporated. So that is a quilt, and that is a metaphor for what we're doing. We each sew a piece of it, and you've got this gorgeous quilt at the end. And this went on for 6 more days. So you'll be seeing on our socials, I'm sharing all of this incredible artwork that came out of that group alchemy, like the little group challenge for our AI art. And Grandmother came through, and then I added a prompt like do some with Cosmic Grandmother, and then I did and then people just took it in directions that they wanted to take it in, and I just blew me away. It blew me away, and I'm so grateful to be a part of such an incredible group. I have think I have everything for housekeeping. Let me see. Group alchemy, design take through a process, just checking my notes, make sure I don't forget any. Free elders, free children. And yep, I said all I had to say.
Sharing the link so that people can sign up.
Yes, yes, yes. Did you put that in the chat?
We can't post links.
Oh, I
Only
can.
you can. Yeah.
If you would like to, Shakti, share what you were kind of getting, as you said, called, like, am I supposed to do something? Or also maybe share your process or what you have coming through at this time, and kind of what you bring to the soup here.
Yeah, briefly, I think we've said a
Yep.
lot in this container, and so I don't want to keep going. My process as well, I have been following divine guidance for almost a decade now, and about 7 years ago, I started really tuning into that, and my life changed radically as I started following the directives, even when it seemed like crazy and insane, like leave everything and move to the United States or whatever. And I'm in a container too. I'm going to turn 60 on the 3rd of April, so I'm touring within this very important portal, this doorway that opens up when sometimes moves into a birthday. And this is a big one, changing the decade, entering more into my crone space. And I also, lately, there's a speed to our activations, there's a speed to our growth, there's a speed to what we're being asked for. And sometimes there's almost very short reaction time for me too. And Juan and I many times feel guided to connect with each other, and we are very complementary. And so it's beautiful because we activate each other, and we bring the 2 different pieces to the container. And I was guided that maybe I should work with One Divine. And then she's like, I think we should do this together. And I got a big resounding, yes, that's what you're meant to do. And so this journey started. And I know that when that's the case and we follow that guidance, just beauty comes through. And we don't even know how big it's going to be. But I know, because I've experienced it so many times before, then when we trust and we say yes, the path just gets shown to us and it becomes very magical. And you grandmothers speak to that in a video where you explain about the path organization, which I've shared a lot, and I'd like for that link to be dropped here if you have it handy, One Divine, otherwise we'll do it later. And you see something so beautiful. You say, even if a rock stands in front of me, I know I am not of this body, and I will go through that rock. And I keep walking my path. I keep praying and surrendering, and it is so powerful. And that's your message, not mine. I'm just repeating your words, but there's such an inspiration for all. And I think that's the invitation I want to put out there. Keep surrendering, keep praying and surrendering, and know that even a boulder won't stop you, because we are not of this body. And when we get in these containers, we understand that it's our souls that are being birthed into remembrance. And that when we move through that energy, the impossible becomes possible to infinity.
Thank you, Grandmother Flordemayo. Any parting words?
Thank you to everyone. Thank you, One Divine. Thank you, Shakti. Thank you, Heather. It's so beautiful, the spirit of inspiration that moves about us. I made a pilgrimage to Mount Shasta a couple of years ago. And as we are sitting here, I keep going back and forth, traveling to Mount Shasta and back to my little space here. And we in Central America say that we are so grateful to our physical body that we're able to experience these things, these journeys, and to be able to come back and share them with everyone. You know, that we can experience the journey, the feeling, the love, the gratitude, the explosion of energy, the unification, and becoming one with all that is. And we are the children of the goddess.
Huzzah. It's perfect. I've got 3 minutes to the hour. I have a show and tell that I'm supposed to show, and I think that you guys will enjoy this. I'm going to grab it. Okay. So when I arrived back here in Shasta from New Mexico, I ended up being there for a few months at the Hendons. And we are establishing our home base here in Mount Shasta, as was called for this time, at the root chakra of the planet. The mother hold that space. And in January, I went to Hestia, which is a mineral springs, sacred grounds here. And Varushka Normandow, who is part of the mothership, gave a beautiful vision board, and it was an experience. It wasn't just a vision boarding workshop there in the mama yurt. And I joined, and she had all the materials and everything. And what was right in front of me, like I was like mind blown, the stuff that was shown to me. And I put on the vision board, and I do some magic on the vision board and what I painted below it and everything. But I have an X, and I did 4 dots in the spaces of the X, and they were guided to be pink and round like roses in spirals, which the pink rose for me always is grandmother, as I get shown the presence. But here's the part, I don't know if it's reading backwards, in the lower corner. It's the seeds coming out, and it says, on the grandmother rose, the path forward.
And you have the moon and the earth there too, designed in the growth. Yeah.
Yeah, everything's there. And this was there. This was in a magic in Mount Shasta with rainbows. And it says community delights in Magic Mountain Farm.
It was premonition.
Yeah. So, and we got our temple there. We're going to have the mother temple and some purple lightning from the masculine, feminine. And masculine, by the way, are welcome. We have masculine within the Mothership Alliance. This is a family. This is the family of light who came here to do this together. And if you would like to join us, this is going to be a banger, as I call it. We have a lot of fun, a lot of music, a lot of art. That's all part of the process. So I hope that you feel inspired to join us. If you feel called, we always know where we're supposed to be, and share it out. Help support the path. Help support us, the mothership, everybody, to continue to do this work, and especially the feminine work, which I always say is not always, by this society's measure, commercially viable, right? It's not something you can package. It is not something that you can resell, but it is something that runs the engine of everything. And there was a time, and there will be a time, when we really are supporting the grandmothers, the mothers, the feminine, to do this work that you cannot measure. So if you want to harness that spirit, that power, we must honor it. And we are honoring it, and we are honored to do this work. I am honored to do this work, and I am honored by everyone who has joined us here today. Thank you again, each and every one of you, Grandmother Flordemayo, Shakti, Heather, for doing the work that you do, for being who you are, and for being in my life and presence to do this together. Thank you all in the audience. I see your comments there. I'm going to go through them all, and we are over and out. Have a fantastic Thor Thursday.